Hey everyone, Jen here again, and we have another tutorial for you. This week is going to be the new, I'm not sure what we're calling this, but maybe Slim Tree Quilt Block is what we'll call it. But this was requested in the Facebook group to create just a quilt block, but a taller, more narrow tree that was solid in the center to create other items with. So this is not a hot pad or anything like that. It is just the quilt block. So this is the only tutorial we will have for this. You will get a PDF with a cut chart, but we're going to go over how to create some pattern pieces for directional fabric. So for those of you who want to get into quilting or creating mini quilts like this, but you want to do it in the hoop, this is like perfect. The blocks take no time, especially if you pre-cut your fabrics. This maybe each block took me maybe 5 minutes once I had all of the fabrics cut, and then I have 3 5x7 hoops, so I just set them up assembly line and went to town. So again, I'm pretty sure I'm going to call this the Slim Tree Quilt Block. I have 6 here for a pillowcase. I have a 20x20 pillow downstairs. I haven't quilted it yet. I just put the blocks together. So let's get into it. All right, so first up, I want to talk about creating pattern pieces. So this is helpful for directional fabrics, or if you just want to maximize the waste of your fabric, or if you have a minimal amount of fabric and you want to make sure that you're cutting it perfectly to size, this is the way to go. This takes little to no time. So if you're going to make a quilt, or a runner or anything, we're going to make multiple of these. This is going to help you out a ton. So I went ahead and I ran step 1 in 2 hoops because I want to make 2 different patterns. So this is on a heavier weight cutaway, so it'll last. Again, in a 5x7 hoop. So I just ran step 1. So that's all of the steps. This is all the placement for the entire pattern. So what I want to create a template for is the sides here, which are exactly the same size. So you only need 1, and then you just need to mirror when you trim your fabric. So what you're going to do is you want to give yourself, you could be generous. You could give yourself a 1/2 inch or, a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So here is the diagonal edge. So you're going to go ahead and give yourself, I think that's about a 1/2 inch for me. So you're going to cut that, and then you're going to cut a seam allowance on the outside, which I want to give myself at least 1 inch on the outer edge of the quilt block. So I make sure I have plenty of fabric to do that flip turn. So here's inch here, inch here, inch here. So now that is your template for both sides. So when you take your fabric, I'm going to get a piece of fabric here. This is the same line I used last week. It's the Hello Spring by Clothworks. Super duper cute. So when you're going to cut your fabrics, you can trace this over it. If you double up your fabric like so, just fold it over so you have a double layer here. There is your mirrored pieces for your tree. So you would take your pattern piece, and you can either go ahead and just cut using the fabric, your pattern piece, or you can go ahead and trace it. If you want to keep this nice and intact, you could also take this and transfer it to, people have been using those Dollar Tree cutting mats to make like permanent pattern pieces. So again, if you cut this mirrored from the get-go, you have both sides of your quilt block. So that's your first pattern piece. The second one that I did, well, you could actually use this too if you wanted to create, we'll cut this down, a pattern piece for the bottom here. You could use this. Now, I'm going to trim this here because I did that with the other side. You'll have to manually add, see, we're going to add 1 inch to the bottom here. You'll have to add a seam allowance on either side, but you could easily use that as a pattern piece for the bottom 2 pieces. So you don't have to waste the other parts. So the other one I'm going to use, I want it for the center of the tree. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself, I'm going to do a 1/2 inch for safety here. So 1/2 inch on the sides of the tree here. And then I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch. Well, let's do a 1/2 inch here. We'll do a 1/2 inch, even though you only need a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so there's your tree. Okay, so we have our tree template cut out. So the reason why I like this is because if you're using directional fabric and you want to highlight a certain part of that fabric, this piece is going to help you do that. So I can actually see through my cutaway. So if I wanted to highlight these 2 groundhogs here and the sun, you could take your pattern again and cut it, and you could even layer up if you wanted and do 2 at a time. So this will save you a ton of fabric for these pieces. So if you choose to use those, great. I'm going to show you how I cut them really quick, and then we're going to make the tree. Okay, so first we're going to cut our sides. So I am not using directional fabric, but I only have a limited amount of this Essex linen. So I'm going to go ahead and show you using this pattern piece. So I layered up both pieces on Essex linen. It doesn't matter which side. So I'm going to go ahead and take the pattern piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and just directly cut here. You could use your ruler, which I will on this side because it will definitely make it easier. So I'm going to flip that over, line that back up, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my ruler and cut. Okay, so we have our 2 side pieces here, just like that. So I'm going to set those aside, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this fabric that I showed you previously, and I definitely want to highlight these 2 little groundhogs here. So I am wasting but saving fabric at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to go ahead and use my ruler. Trim here. Again, make sure you, there we go. Trim here. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim along the bottom here. Okay. So now I have my tree right there, so you can see my little guys are highlighted. And then we're going to cut, I have 2 pieces cut for either side of the tree. And then I'm going to go ahead and the little stump takes almost no fabric. This will be in your cut chart. So we have stump, either side, the center, and the sides. So now we're going to put it together. Okay, so I went ahead and ran step 1, which again is the placement for all of your pieces. So the first step that's going to go down is the stump. So you're going to take your stump colored fabric and go ahead and line that up, covering your entire stump, and then you're going to run step 2. Okay, now that the stump is in place, you're going to do either side. So the first side to go down is going to be the left side. So you're going to take your side piece here and you're going to line it up with the excess of your stump, and it's going to tack it into place here. And then you'll flip it over and it will finish the tack around the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and run the next step, and then I'll show the flip. Okay, so the first tack down is in place here. You're going to go ahead and flip over the excess to the left. The next step is going to tack the outer edge into place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to repeat on this side over here. Okay, so this is complete. So we're going to go ahead and repeat the process on the right side. So we're going to lay the fabric down, run our initial tack, flip it over, and then finish the tack down. Okay, so both sides are in place. So what we're going to do, if necessary, which I don't think I really need to, but you're going to trim off the excess up top here to 1/4 of an inch or close. You need to have a seam allowance, so don't cut close like an applique. So at least 1/4 of an inch here. So the next step is going to be the tree center. So here's our tree center and there's our little guys. Now remember, we gave ourselves a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so we have room to play here. So you're going to take your center of your tree and place it right side down, the fabric right side down with the excess tree towards the bottom, because what it's going to do is it's going to tack into place here, and then it's going to flip up and cover the rest of the stitching. So just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and run the next step, which at this point I think we're at step 4. Okay, so we're going to take our tree, do step 4, and then I'll come back and we'll show you the flip. Okay, so our tree is tacked into place along here. We're going to go ahead and take the excess fabric and fold it up. And you can see, okay, here's our groundhogs. We can see them. You can feel the stitching where it lays out. So the stitching over here, so you can still see them just fine. I'm going to go ahead and trim the seam allowance on the bottom of the tree to 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to flip up the fabric like so. And then I'm going to take it over to the machine and it's going to run the next step, which is going to tack your tree into place. Okay, so here's our tree in place. And the nice thing is, because we use the template, we have a seam allowance, a nice smooth seam allowance, so you don't have to trim that tree. So if you decide, I don't want to do any templates, but maybe just one, I would choose the tree. So that saves you a lot of trimming around the tree. So the next step is going to be the right side. So here is our fabric. If you're using, printed, you're going to put the right side of the fabric down, and you're going to line it up just over the stitching of the tree, just like so. So if you gave yourself a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the diagonal, you can line it up directly with the side of your tree, and then you don't have to trim this either. So we're going to go ahead and tack this into place. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll go ahead and flip this over and finish the side. Okay, so our side is tacked into place here. You're going to go ahead and take that piece and fold it over. And this should give us, I think we put an inch seam allowance. So yeah, we have about 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. So if you want to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room, go ahead and do that when you create your pattern piece. So we're going to do the next step, which is going to continue all the way around the side. And while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and attach the left side in the same exact process. So you're going to take your fabric on the diagonal, tack it into place, then flip it over and continue the exterior tack down. All right, so here is our finished quilt block. So you can see the edge here went all the way around, tacked it in, did the same side over here. So this is your tree. Now, what do you do with it now that you're finished, right? So there are 2 ways you could go about this. So you could leave the stabilizer in, which if you do foundation paper piecing, so like, I don't know that that's considered traditional, but like if you do that, what they suggest you do is to leave the paper in your quilt block. And that's what keeps your quilt block stable when you're sewing them all together. So for this size, for me personally, I didn't feel like I needed to leave the paper. But if I'm going to do this and use larger sizes, I'm definitely going to leave the paper, because it will help you just keep the blocks smooth and together, and then you sew them with the paper and then rip all the paper out at the end. So for this, what I would suggest, if you want to kind of the best of both worlds, is to remove the outer edge of the stabilizer and then leave the center of the block intact. And this is for people who maybe are not as skilled with sewing quilt blocks together, okay? So what you're going to have to do if you choose that method is when you sew them together, you're going to have to include your outline in your seam allowance. So if you remove all this, which is what I did, you're going to cut off the stitching so you don't have to worry about it. So if you want to leave the paper in, I would trim down your outer edge here to 1/8, and then include the stitching as your, that will include your stitching in your 1/4 inch seam allowance, which is what I would suggest for putting any of these blocks together. Um, or if you're going to put this into, say, a bag pattern, like as the front, then you don't have to worry about any of that. You could just pull out the stabilizer and use it however you like. So for my project, I went ahead and I trimmed this down. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, hopefully a little closer here, so you can see my stitching. So how I trimmed was I trimmed just over the stitch line. I mean, just over it. I want that stitching out of my block. So I'm going to remove all of the stabilizer out of my block. So literally just over, it's just barely cutting off that stitching. You don't want to take too much off because you don't want to lose the point of your tree when you sew your blocks together and for whatever you're going to use them for. Okay, so this is my trimmed block. And then I went through and I pulled out the stabilizer, and you want to be gentle, but the tear easy, if you can, as you can see, comes out so easily. It does not pull at your threads at all, so you don't really have to worry about your stitching coming undone. Typically, when you do foundation paper piecing on a sewing machine, you use a much shorter stitch length, which this is a shorter stitch length. A single stitch in embroidery is much shorter than a traditional sewing stitch. So you should be good there. So you can see the center just kind of falls right out, which is good. And then what I do is, this is when I starch my blocks. So I'm going to take this over to the iron. I'm going to spray lightly with starch, and I'm going to press it, not iron it. I'm going to press my block. I'm going to press my block, and then we'll come back and I'll show you my finished project again. I realized on the last video that I did not zoom back out. So here again is the finished quilt block, all trimmed, and I removed all of the stabilizers. So this is what the back of the quilt block looks like. So this is the 5x7 again. So what I made with my 5x7 blocks is this will be a pillowcase once I'm done with it for a 20-inch throw pillow, which is kind of large. Most of them are about 16 to 18 inches. So I will write down the measurements of all of my other fabrics down below, so you do not have to write them down right now, but just a general overview for you. So it's three 5x7 and another 3 5x7, so 6 blocks of trees. And then the center strips are 2.5 inches wide by the block, which is 7. The center strip is 2.5 by whatever the width is here. So I went ahead and pieced these pieces together. Then I measured that, and this is a 2.5-inch strip. The top and the bottom strips are 2 inches, and the outside edge, all of these strips are 1.5 by like whatever this length is. I'll do a measurement, but I just sewed these three together, and then I added the strips, and then I went ahead and cut my sides to length as I sewed, which for me is just how my brain works, easier. So what we're going to do is the new Avenir machine is coming to my house next week. So I was hoping to get this quilted on that new machine so I could show you it in action. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to quilt it on the Avenir, and we'll build the rest of the pillow together on next week's video. So you'll see it all together. This is what the back looks like. So if you're curious, this is everything pieced. Looks really nice. So again, use the blocks as you would like, and I can't wait to see your projects.